What's good, everybody? It's your brother Mad Black, the most dangerous and most toxic black man on the internet, and I am black up in your face again with some more pro-black commentary. Over last week I was out of town just on a little spring break trip with the family, and I got a news alert on my phone, and it was from one of my buddies out there, and they were saying that they posted a story of Donald Trump saying that he might be arrested this week and he wants his MAGA mutants to run out there and protest for him. So, I went to the news story and read over it and saw what the orange lace front wearing tangerine was talking about. And apparently on his own social media platform, he was talking about how he'll probably be arrested by the New York Manhattan DA because of some hush money that he paid to the porn star Stormy Daniels. So he paid her off before his election back in 2016. So, to make her, shut up and not say anything about how they had an affair or whatever. And now the DA is trying to put that on Trump and arrest him for that because I guess that's a misappropriation of funds and trying to hide the truth or whatever nonsense they came up with. Okay. So I want to talk about that a little bit. And, before we get started, just let me say this. Okay. I am not a Biden supporter. I already know there's some idiots out there who say, or who've seen the thumbnail like, oh, he's talking bad about Donald Trump. You must be a Biden supporter. You must be a Democrat liberal. And Biden, he's doing this and this. Don't start that crap. Please don't do that. Okay? I know some of you fools out there, you ate Elmer's glue when you were in kindergarten and you've been chewing on crayons and whatnot, or some of you have grown up in the trailer park and you smoked up all the methamphetamines and done all the opioids. It's messed your brains up. I understand that. Okay? But just because some person criticizes your politician does not mean that they support or endorse the other politician. I don't endorse or support any of them. Okay? They're all scum to me. If the American people really had some sense, they would take all those politicians and throw them away in the trash. But I know the American public doesn't have any sense. The American people are mesmerized by political pro wrestling, because that's all American politics is. It's basically pro wrestling for American adults. We all used to watch the WWF or WCW back in the day, or it was called NWA back in the day. We used to watch that stuff and we cheer for the babyface and boo the heel. That's all American politics is. And they put on a show in front of you, and once the show is done, they go and shake hands behind closed doors and say, good match. We really got those marks out there. We really got the money from those marks. That's what it is. Okay? So don't come here arguing about how I'm supporting the Democrats because I'm talking about Trump. Trump has done enough evil and spewed enough bile on his own that I don't need the Democrats to criticize him. Okay? Trump was a jerk and an a-hole before he even became president of the United States. He's always been that. Okay? I grew up around Donald Trump. Growing up in the tri-state area in the 80s and 90s, I know what type of jerk he is. Okay? I know the type of shady deals he did with contractors when he built those casinos and stuff in New Jersey. Okay? I know what type of jerk Donald Trump is before he even got into politics like that. I know what he's like. Okay? I've never liked him, never respected him. Okay? So now he's arrogant enough to come out there and make it seem as if people are just putting this grand witch hunt against him. He even said that in a very recent talk that he gave. He says it's just a big witch hunt. These people are trying to just gin up anything. They're raiding my homes, and now they might arrest me because of horse-faced Stormy Daniels. He actually called her that. He called her a horse-face. Now, I will say this about Donald Trump. He's hilarious. Donald Trump is very entertaining. I'll give him that, okay? When he was, before he got elected president and when he was president, I would read his tweets. They were very funny. Okay, the class clown is always funny. Okay, the big buffoon is always going to get a laugh out of you some way, shape, or form. But as far as being respected as a leader, no, of course not. I don't get that whole thing where you have these conservatives and these Republicans and libertarians who claim that they're against corporate interests or they're against these corporatists that run our government and these elitists. So their solution to that is just to elect an actual elitist corporate robber baron. You see what I'm saying? That makes no sense whatsoever. I guess they figure they're cutting out the middleman. So they're not voting for a politician who's being controlled by one of these corporate guys. They'll just vote for the corporate guy himself. I guess that's how it works in their little mayonnaise mutant mind. But like I said before, that brain has been smoked away with meth and everything else, and there's some other drugs out there now that's actually eating their skin and making them look like zombies. I might do a video about that probably next week. But, I don't know what goes on in their mind to justify this. So Trump said he wants people to go out there and protest to save him from getting arrested. Now, that's extremely arrogant. Whatever you're dealing with, devil, you deal with that. You take personal responsibility and you deal with that. That has nothing to do with the American citizens. You going to jail has nothing to do with us. Okay? That's your foul up. You committed the crime. You do whatever time. And we all know he's not going to do any time, by the way. That whole nonsense about, they raided my house, one of his many mansions, that's not hurting him. Okay? The fact that you even know that an indictment might be coming down the pipe is already white privilege to the highest extent. How many people know when they're going to be arrested? They just come and grab us up off the street, right? We don't get any notification or precognition to where we can go out and announce when we're going to be arrested and then tell people to go out there and protect us somehow. So the only thing I will say to my people out there, keep your eyes open if he does get arrested, because, these mayonnaise mutants, they don't need much of any excuse to cause chaos and destruction. Obviously, we saw that on January 6th, and black people have known this for centuries, how they act when they don't get their way. That's why black people were not surprised by January 6th. Everyone else was, but we see this all the time. Okay, we've been around white people enough. We know how they act when they don't get their way. It usually results in our death or the destruction of our property. They always talk about black people destroying property. No one destroys property and destroys lives like white folks. Okay? There's millions of black and dark-skinned people around the globe who can tell you that from personal experience. Okay? So, don't be surprised if they start acting up because of what Trump told them to do. Now, as far as how I see it, or, my philosophy on the whole thing is really they don't need any excuse to act up, because we've seen how these mayonnaise mutants have been plotting to, kidnap government officials or murder them or whatever. We all know what they're going to try to do. They do this stuff anyway. They don't need Trump as an excuse. You know what I'm saying? That's you need to keep your eyes open regardless. Whatever is going on, you always need to keep your eyes open. My personal opinion, I like to sit in a public place. I make sure that I can see the door and see who's coming in and out. I don't like sitting with my back to the door. I always want to see who's coming in and out, and being in a safe position, always know where your exits are. Always know, how, if you have to get out of a place, especially if you're there with your family, you always want to make sure you know how to get out of a place. Make sure you see where the exit signs are and know how to get out of any situation, okay? Make sure you can see who's coming in and out of a place. Make sure you are, prepared for any type of situation, okay? Just in case anything pops off. Because these idiots have something up their butt, a bug crawling up their butt about what happens to this rich white male. You see what I'm saying? They claim there's no white privilege at all, but this rich white male can just order them and tell them what to do because he's getting arrested or might get arrested based on paying off some porn star. I mean, all he had to do, I don't know why he paid her off. All you had to do, Trump, was go out and say, hey, I like blonde-haired, big-breasted hoes. Just you could have just done that, and your audience would have accepted that. You didn't have to go out there and pay her off. Just go out there and say, look, I like big-breasted, fake-breasted hoes. Haven't you seen the women I've married? Look at all the women I've married. I like hoes. What's the big deal? All he had to do was say that, and his audience would have gone right for that. They'd have been okay with that. I mean, remember when he got caught out there for saying, I like to grab women by the vagina? And you had these white women at these rallies talking about, hey, Trump, come grab me by my vagina. So right then and there, you have people who don't care what he does. He could, when you're a fan or you're an obsessed or you're obsessed with like a guru or something like that, there's nothing really you can say to talk people out of that. Trump could bring a newborn baby up on screen and take a bite out of it, and people would blame the baby, say, well, the baby shouldn't have been there. It's the baby's fault for getting bitten by Donald Trump. It's the baby's fault. The left sent that baby there. He had to eat it. So, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what you think of, the rationale behind what Trump is telling these people to do. They're going to do it regardless. And like I said, they're mayonnaise mutants to begin with. So they think everything, someone is attacking them. They always play the victim. And Trump is a master at that, playing the victim. So they'll play the victim as well and say someone's trying to take away Trump's freedom or something like that, and just go out there and riot or burn down a store or shoot up some people or go into a church and shoot some people or a grocery store, whatever. Just be on the lookout for nonsense like that. And we'll keep an eye out to see what these mayonnaise mutants decide to do based on Trump's recommendation that they get out there and quote-unquote protest. Anyway, you folks let me know how you feel about it in the comments section. This is Mad Black, and I will be back with my foot on the devil's back.